Hello, Topcoder community. Welcome to another live presentation for you all. I am joined today by Atif and Tony. Atif and Tony, they are the ones that have worked on the new settings page that you see on Topcoder. This got released about 2 weeks ago, I'd like to say, a week or two ago. So it's relatively new. I wanted to get on a call with them to help us all understand how exactly it works, what kind of information we're asking now. We're going to go into a deep dive. We're going to ask all our questions as well. The live chat is open, so pop your questions in there and we will get them answered for you. So do you want to just say hi to the community, Tony, first?
Hello, everyone.
Atif, welcome.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, guys.
So, Atif, what did you do specifically with this page? Were you the one that the one that was implementing all the features? Like, what was your role on these pages?
All right. It was from the early stage that conceptualizing what we need to do and how we should grow the member base. Member base being the data that we're capturing about all our community members, right?
Cool. And Tony, you were kind of like there to oversee the development of it, I guess.
Yeah, the overall product management of it and kind of aligning the features with what requests are out there and pushing things forward. But yeah, Atif was the ultimate driver of getting it implemented.
Awesome.
So Atif is actually not, I can't call him a new member of the team anymore because he's been here for, what is it, just about a year? Or getting close to a year, probably?
Nearly close to a year.
Yeah, so he's joined the team as an architect and has been focusing on the member profiles and settings, and we'll continue to do so for the next few months as well.
Very cool. Yeah, time is flying, man. Time is flying, and features are being released. All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Atif. He's going to walk us through the pages, walk us through all the information we're talking about, and we'll ask questions throughout. So this is very ad hoc. Feel free to jump in whenever you want. All right, Atif, take it away.
Sure. So I'm sharing my screen. So I hope you guys can see everything.
We got it.
All right. So, once you go onto the home page and you go to your settings, so this is what you'll see. So, you have your basic information. So this will be the first landing page of settings, where you have the ability to change your avatar, right? The image that you have. You have that basic, personal information like first name, last name, date of birth, your address, about you, your gender, t-shirt size, and various other details. Then we have tracks here. This was a feature that was there earlier. So some of the things we just pulled back from what we had, which made sense, and we've added a lot more to it right now. So when we come to the features that we've kind of added, so we've added something like, earlier skills used to come in the same page. So just to categorize things, brought in skills. It's kind of similar what we had before, but we didn't have the ability to add the skills later on. So you can select a skill, let's say DA.NET, add it, and get that added into your thing. Like that, you can add various other tools, technologies, right? This will help us understand better, like seeing the future right now. It's about content targeting. So, the kind of challenges and things that we have, we post them onto Slack and various other channels. But there might be circumstances where you might be busy in something that you're doing. You're running a challenge. So instead of that, understanding your profile, pulling out your, comparing you to the challenges they're running, we will be able to target the content towards you. So for instance, maybe you're running a challenge on Node.js, for instance, and we see 2-3 others which are coming in. So we will alert you in a better way. So that's the future of member profile. So how we can categorize these things and get more information about you.
Oh, that's great. Does that functionality work now, or that's something that we're planning on for a little down the line?
Right now, it's like phase 1 of our plan.
Okay.
So right now, we're just getting the ability of getting the information from all our members. Then the phase 2 and phase 3, we will be addressing this, where we'll be contenting, like, we'll be taking the content that you've added and then start targeting the members. So it's a step-by-step process. So this is just phase 1, if you can consider in that way. So along with that, we have some, like things that are not really entwined in it, but more to know our members. So what are your hobbies? We have various other sections also, which we'll introduce time by time in phases. Along with that, we have communities. So right now we just have 2, like blockchain and cognitive. This could increase. So from a backend perspective, like, what have we changed in the current existing structure? So the architecture was in such a way that members were already there. We could not really increase it, but we needed to make it so scalable that, tomorrow I have skills, hobbies, communities. I'll be showing various other sections on tools and technologies. Like that, we could increase it as much. So we made it as flexible as possible. And this has been done with the help of the community. So it's the effort of all you guys out there who've helped us build this. Right?
Oh, very cool. So for those that are wondering, what is like the hobby section? Why would they want to enter in their hobbies in this area?
All right. As such, from a content perspective, we don't really, we're not really going to use it, but more from a personal perspective, like, we can understand our users. What do they like doing? Like in my case, I put swimming and chess, right? So it could be something like, there's a project that's coming in and it's more related to maybe like a kind of a chess game or something like that. So, if I know someone who's interested in that, I could reach out to them.
Cool.
All right.
A little interesting stat too, just monitoring what people have been entering so far. That hobbies is one of the more entered bit of information so far that people are putting in there.
Sure. So I'll move on to the next section, tools. So more relevant. So we have something like devices. So you can see a ton of devices that I've added at the top. If you want to add something new, you can just scroll down. So you have.
This is new for sure.
Yeah. So like, I've put like, I have Mac, I have Alienware, iPad, phones, smartwatch. Yeah.
Nice.
Now, you can understand what I'm trying to say. Like, for instance, there's an app that's come, which is targeting wearable devices. So from this member, like, in case it's me. So I see that he has a Gear S3. So, he's a guy who has this watch. So I can get something tested on it or something developed on it. Or if he's not even doing that, if he's interested, then we can we can target projects to them. All right.
Cool.
So, under devices, you have separate categories: desktop, laptop, tablet, smartphone, console, wearables. The list could increase. So we made it that flexible. Right now, we brought in these many. We could bring in as many as we want.
Is there a way that someone could like reach out to us if there's like a certain device that they have that they'd like to put in? I guess that would be a support thing.
Yep.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the things that we do want to get better at with this one, is making sure that we're being inclusive of the devices. Right now it's a bit of a static list, but we want to make that more dynamic and inclusive of what's out there and kind of keep up with the current technologies. But like Atif mentioned a bit, like this will be actually one of the first things that we try to push pretty hard for people to put on their profiles, because we do have a complimentary offering on the customer side of things, where our customers are coming in and asking for solutions around QA. We're calling QA as a service. So customers can come into the Topcoder Connect app right now and ask the community to do various types of QA efforts for them, whether it's real world testing or performance testing. And a lot of it's dependent upon what devices the community has. So this helps us identify if we have the available community and start to reach out to them to pair them up with those projects as they're coming in.
So we might have like challenges or projects coming out that just requires you potentially to just download an app because they know you have a certain device.
Right. We want somebody to be able to test our app on a certain version of Android. And you happen to have that device, so it makes you eligible to be able to do that testing. That's
cool. That's cool. All right. Sorry.
just adding to Tony's what Tony has said. So several times I heard of some account, like some clients that came in, and they wanted a certain subscription that maybe users have, or in some cases, like they came back and said they want to test this app on iPhone 5. So how do we know our members have iPhone 5 or not out there? So it's only if people start entering all these things, we'll be able to target and confidently tell our customers also that we have so many people who have these iPhone 5, so it's pretty easy for us to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
All right, shall I move on to the next thing?
Yes, please.
So as I said, we had devices. Along with that, we have softwares. So Visual Studio Code, Chrome. So these are all open source. Now, think from a practical perspective. We get an account, or we get a client that comes in, and he wants people to work on a specific version of a software. Maybe it's a paid version or anything of that kind. So we could know that people have those softwares on their system or not.
Cool. And again, this is all private. This won't appear on your public profile or anything.
No, it won't. Right. So I'll come to that in a bit in another section. We'll explain that more. Moving on to the next thing, service providers. So it could be your internet service provider. It could be various other things that you have. All right. Or subscriptions like Amazon, Netflix. Maybe we want to get something tested on it, or it could be any other subscriptions. So this is about it. What we've developed on the tools section of things. Any questions still here?
Nothing in the chat, not yet.
Sure, super. So let me just consider. I'll move on to the next. If there are any questions, we'll come back to it. So going on to the account section. So earlier in our system, we had the ability to allow the members to change their password, but we didn't allow them to change their email addresses. But in certain cases, like your email address, you might want to change it, or there might be any preferences. So we brought in the ability to change your email address. You can just click on this change email, provide your new email address, and you just be given sent emails on both the email addresses. You just need to go and approve.
Okay.
That's about it. And along with that, we also allow you to log in with other accounts like GitHub and various others. We haven't enabled all of them as yet. Some of them are enabled, some are not. All right, you can just choose at your preference. Along with it, one more thing that we mentioned is about the user consent. All right, so without your consent, we will not use your data. So you have this option here, which will also pop up once you log into the page at the first instance. It'll ask you that, do you allow Topcoder to use your information for a better experience? So you can fill in your data and then still go ahead and just say, no, I don't want you to target me or get my information. All right.
Okay.
So the powers with the members.
Okay.
Right.
As it should.
Now, going on to the last section, which is preferences. We haven't changed anything, all the same things. So we have the email preferences, which you can select. You have forms, you have payments, invitation letters, and referrals. So we've just clubbed them together in a better bucket kind of thing, but the feature is pretty similar to what was there earlier.
Okay, great. Yeah, I know this email preferences for the community. The email preferences is a little more buried. We're going to be working on how to bring it more to the forefront, because I know, especially for a lot of our new members, they are unsure about this section. And this section is important because we do send out these newsletters on a weekly basis, specifically the design, development, and the data science newsletter. We put them together, which contain a lot of information from challenges being held to updates on the leaderboard and just goings on around the community for that week. So a lot of great information that we want to share with you all. So really encourage you to come to this page and flip on those switches to whatever interests you the most. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the newsletters there. So thank you for that. All right.
I just selected two.
Awesome. Cool. Is that it for this section?
That's about it. Tony, do you want to add anything? Might have missed out.
I think you covered the main parts of the user settings. Yeah, obviously the other side of this is the public profile pages, which I think most people have probably seen, but the back end and kind of the plumbing underneath has been changed for those, but feature-wise, that's still the same.
It's still the same.
But hopefully you notice a little bit of a better performance and stability on them. But those still show the same statistics and basic bio information that you put in here. So we can see who our designers, data science, and developers are in the community.
Sweet. All right. At this point, I'm going to, well, I think Jesse sent out a form for people to ask questions. So I thought we would go ahead and do that now. The first question is, why do you need this info from us all of a sudden? Who wants to take that one?
So some of that I think we talked about, right? A lot of it will end up being to cater the experience to you better. So understanding what work is coming in from our demand side from customers, and on the opposite side, understanding who's in our community that has that capability and interest to participate in those things and be able to create that sort of matching and notification experience in a better way. And then just in general too, I mean, those that have been around for Topcoder for a while kind of know our profiles have always been kind of one of the centerpieces, and we've always tracked those statistics and ratings over time and tried to make it very, very merit-based, and have those profiles and those stats and those skills have a lot of meaning there. So we want to get back to really focusing on that, and a lot of the stuff on the back end that we've done helps us drive towards really taking profiles up to the next level.
Very cool. Second question. Can the general public see this info? If not, what can they see? I think we touched on this a little bit. Atif, do you want to reiterate? They can't see all of the info, right?
Right now, from a public profile perspective, whatever details we are sharing earlier about the user, like, more bio, email address, that's about it. We have not changed anything. It's just the pipeline, basically the layer behind the user interface that's been developed. Or else there's nothing else right now. We're not sharing any of your personal data with anyone. It's not publicly available.
Yeah, so Nick, here's an example of a profile, right? So this is what's being surfaced publicly, which is the same as what we had seen before. So none of the personal information that you're entering there, but these definitely focus more on their history of development and understanding what they're interested in and how they've been competing. Or in this case, Thomas is also a co-pilot, so we have his co-pilot statistics and activity in here.
Oh, nice.
If you're competing in SRMs and marathon matches, like Taurus does, obviously we've got all those rating graphs and history, and his performance over time is still tracked in there.
Thomas is on the call. He's like, whoa, that's me. He's famous. All right, cool. No, I think you answered that correctly. For the third question, what's next for the member profiles? I guess kind of what we were talking about.
Yeah, so we hinted at some of it. What Atif mentioned before about the ability now to extend the profiles pretty easily because of the architecture that he put in place there. We'll feed a lot of stuff that we're going to start doing next. Some of it's just kind of basic establishing profiles for other types of users or extended profiles for other types of users. So there may be some information specific about co-pilots that we would want to understand, that we can add those traits and attributes to those to their profiles. Right now, we don't really have a concept of customer profiles in the system. So we're talking about extending it to that concept. So we sort of have a separation of understanding who's a customer versus who's a member of the community competing and working on those tasks. We want to go further with the skills concept in there. So the skills that Atif was pointing out there were, they're actually coming from two data sources right now. One is just I'm self-identifying myself as knowing something or having an interest in there. The other data source to those skills right now are based on your competition history. So as you compete in challenges that are tagged with those skills, it actually does feed into your profile as well as more of a merit-based way to track that skill. But then we also know that our members are out there in all sorts of other platforms, whether they're competing or they're contributing to GitHub open source projects or whatever it might be. So some of what we're looking at is how to extend our members' profiles to include some of those accolades that they're getting in the rest of the world, and kind of feed that into the concept of a merit-based profile in Topcoder that's a bit more inclusive beyond just the scope of what they're doing within challenges or tasks on our platform.
Oh, that'd be cool. Kind of just expanding the information that, more about their merits, like you mentioned, right?
Yeah, so imagine Atif linked his GitHub account, and then all of a sudden it pulled in a bunch of information like how many commits he's made, what languages those commits are for. Kind of gives them some more credibility in the development space.
Oh, we love that. The future of Topcoder, people. The future of Topcoder. You're hearing it here first. We have one final question. When will be? I don't really understand it, but when will we be able to share our profiles and updated info on our social media pages?
So I think I get that one.
Okay.
I don't have a specific date on that one yet. We have had it in our backlog as an idea for a while.
Huh. What does he ask?
So if we can talk about that one. I think basically have like a portable profile. I want to share information about my Topcoder credibility on Facebook or on my various social accounts, or maybe if I just want a challenge, I want to be able to show that off, that I won first place in the last SRM last night. So I think adding that kind of type of social capability. If I'm wrong, whoever asked that question, please chat it in if we're answering that wrong. But I think my recommendation is, I'm assuming a lot of people want that. If they do, keep bugging us about it, and we'll bump it up higher on the priority list.
Very cool. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions in the live chat, and those are the only questions that we had in our on our form. So yeah, maybe we'll just make this short and sweet. Wrap it up a little earlier. Any last remarks from you, Atif?
Yeah, from me, I would like to give a shout out to Thomas and Lunar Kid, Didi. So whatever you guys see here, it's a lot of effort contributed by these two co-pilots as well.
Yeah, our community is always a big help whenever we are, creating new features or just anything really on the Topcoder platform. It's almost a big chance that our community had something to do with it, had their hands in the mix there.
Yeah, once again, you guys are awesome.
They are.
But one of the things here too, just a closing comment from me. I mean, these obviously you guys were able to help build this, but you're also the #1 customer of them in many ways. So it's kind of cool to be able to see you drive a lot of the feature requests and requirements in the direction of it too. So keep giving input on where we should take these to really make them meaningful to you guys.
Right, your feedback is important, and it's showing now. So a lot of what you see right now in the settings page is because of what you guys have given us as feedback. So thank you so much for that, and keep it going. And I just got word, and it's going to be released in the newsletters later today. But we are going to raffle off 50 T-shirts to people who have completed their new settings profile. So
get your T-shirt size in.
What's that?
Get your T-shirt size in there.
Yeah. gotta get the community their swag. So if you've always wanted a Topcoder T-shirt or want to expand your collection, here's an easy way to do it. So just you saw all the tabs and all the little bits of information that you can pop into the Topcoder settings profile. If you fill that out, we will put you in a raffle and draw 50 of the handles that have actually completed their profile. So a little fun way to get started and to win a T-shirt. So that will do it for us folks here. Thank you so much for joining us. we may have another one of these live chats soon about another feature that we've built with Topcoder. But stay tuned. Follow us on social media. Follow us on Topcoder. We are everywhere. So until then, we will see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.